Welcome. Today me and my friends are going to show you how to do proper camera and lighting setup for an interview. First off, for our background we decided to use a corner of two walls connecting to give it some depth. Our subject here, Kevin, is sitting across from where the interviewer would be, and off to the side of the interviewer on the right is where the camera should be set up. Just slightly above what would be the subject's eye level.
Okay, first off, we're going to start with the backlight, which we have positioned a little slightly off the side and behind a little bit of the subject you want lit. And we have it on at an angle. We have it on a 45-degree angle. So it's slightly above and behind the subject, so it illuminates his shoulders and his head. But an important thing to remember is that you want the handle on the right side, so if your light is heavy, if it goes down any, it will tighten it for you. And then once you have your C-stand set up and angled right, set up your light, and then striking a light is what you say when you're striking a light. So striking a light, and there we have the backlight. And to remember, if it's too bright, you can have it on a dimmer, like so.
Alright, right now we're setting up the key light, which is basically the main light.
The main light that's going to be illuminating
Yes.
the subject's face.
Tighten this first before I tighten this. Probably better to start off your light low and then raise it. It's more convenient that way. So you kind of want to position the key light off to the side a little bit from the subject. Normally you would want the key light to be about a foot or two above the subject. From the subject's head. So that seems about right. And then now you don't open it.
For the fill light, we're going to cheat and not actually use a light at all, but a reflector. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to set the stand that will hold the light off to basically the side of the subject that you're lighting, and this arm that I'm connecting to the stand will hold the reflector. And we just have a simple two-sided reflector. We got a shiny silver side, and then we have the white side. I'll probably just use the light side for the purposes of this demonstration. And then you just has a flexible metal ring on the outside that just slides into these little rubber grips. And then with some adjustment on the arm, you get this grip. So what I'm going to try and do is set this so it catches the light and reflects it. And we have me on the camera just helping me out, make sure that I'm positioning it right and that I'm not invading the scene. And so
Right, that's good.
You can go a
A
lot
little
closer.
bit closer. You good?
Yep.
All right, I got the okay that the lighting seems to be good and it is out of shot. And there, and then you don't have to spend extra money on an extra light. And it's a quick little cheat to help you get by. You can do a lot with reflectors.
Now that we've got the backlight, the key light, and the fill light set up, now it's time for the background light, which is used to illuminate, you guessed it, the background. And usually when you do this, you don't want the background too exposed, so it distracts from the subject in the interview. So we're going to use a cookie, which will change up the lighting effects. But anyway, for placement for this background light, you usually want it behind kind of near behind the backlight, somewhere where it can easily show onto the background, depending on whatever interview or wherever it's set up. But anyway, when you're setting up a light like this, you usually want to use gloves for safety because they get really hot. And yeah, so we're going to strike the light. Yes, that is it. Ooh,
And-
it's hot.
And
It's
then
like a
look at the
desert.
background.
Look at the background.
As you can see, the background right now is just completely flooded with the open lights. If we go back to Dan with his handy dandy gloves, you can
set
adjust
the barn doors
to give the light a little bit more personality. So let's get a good hard line. And can you rotate them? Let's see what we got to play with. Let's get more. Let's go. I like angles, Dane. I don't know about you. All right, and then let's make sure that we're getting the entirety.
You want some
back.
good gloves for this because that thing is hot.
Now, Dane has mentioned the cookie, which he has right behind him. And this will allow us to add texture to the light. And let's see if, Dan, if you could step to the side. And as you can see, if I put it in front of the light, I'm really close, so the shadows from the cookie are soft. But if I were to get far away and want a little bit more texture, you can start to see the shadows become a little bit sharper. But I think for the purpose of the interview, we should keep it relatively soft. And I'm going to say we'll probably want to be right about there. And cookies, they're really easy to make. You can use stiff, like Art's aluminum foil. This one's just made out of like foam board, and you can cut in, take like X-Acto knife and cut in any type of designs or whatever you want. This one's reminds me of like old Rugrats Nickelodeon textures.
Or like tortilla chips.
Or tortilla chips. And so I'm just going to move a C-stand in front of the background light. I'm going to use some clips just to see if I can connect the cookie to it. And then we got a little bit of a texture. Let's move it a little bit closer.
Now that you have an interesting and well-lit setup, you are ready to mic your talent and start the interview.